have heard good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. So, I'm Fabrizio, coordinator of the Spirit Society of Bournemouth. On behalf of the Society, I wish to thank most warmly Lawrence and the Poole Christian Spiritualist Church to let us have the use of the church for today's event. We have enjoyed a very good cooperation between the two organizations, and I hope we let grow and continue in future. I also want to welcome everyone who has come along to this event today, whether from this church, the Espírita Society of Bournemouth, or from further away. A special welcome of those of you who have traveled some distance to get here. I hope you enjoy your time in Poole and Bournemouth. In particular, I welcome most warmly our distinguished guest speakers. Thank you very much for taking the time to visit Dorset and share your special knowledge and spiritual insights with us today. So now I would like to let you know briefly about the Espírita Society of Bournemouth. We formed the group about 5 years ago. Our purpose is to promote the Christian's principle of Spiritism through study and practice of Spiritist teaching, scientific, philosophic, and moral, as codified in the 19th century by the French medium Allan Kardec. Allan Kardec's investigation led him to write many articles, studies, and books which help us understand how spirituality and knowledge of the spiritual world can help us to have a more harmonious life. Our meetings are open to everyone from any background, culture, faith, and religion. We meet every Tuesday evening at the Chinese Spiritualist Church in Bournemouth, where we study Spiritist books, including at present the Gospel According to Spiritism and the Medium's book, both reading by Allan Kardec. If you'd like to know anything more about the Society, please come and speak to me or anyone who is wearing this little lanyard. You are more than welcome to give you more information about our Society. So let me take this time now to introduce our speakers. Today's event is about reincarnation, the survival of the soul in life after death. I'm very pleased that we have 3 excellent guest speakers to share with us their insight on this fascinating and important topic of reincarnation. Now let me tell you about the speakers. Dr. Humberto Coelho Schuberter is a lecturer in the Department of Philosophy at the Federal University of Juiz de Fora in Brazil and has a PhD in Science and Religion. He is a researcher for Oxford University and author of books and articles on spirituality, philosophy, and comparative religion. He is an editor of the Primavera Press and a worker in the Spiritist Society Primavera. Humberto's talk will be about the philosophical arguments for reincarnation. That reincarnation is primarily a philosophical solution for moral and metaphysical problems, rather than a religion belief. Following on Humberto, our next guest speaker is Anne Sinclair. Anne has studied Spiritism for over 30 years and enjoyed participating in study groups, giving lectures, working with mediumship. She works as a volunteer interpreter for Brazilian Spiritist lectures in the UK, in particular the well-known medium Divaldo Franco. Anne is also a qualified midwife and health visitor, and she works in the NHS in safeguarding. Her talk will explore ideas suggested by the spirits on the biology of reincarnation. Following Anne's talk, our final guest speaker, Dr. Maria Paula Gonçalves. Maria Paula qualified as a food engineer with a master's degree and PhD in food science, and is also a certified nutritionist with a master's degree in human nutrition, as well as functional medicine health coach. She is passionate about helping people implement the fantastic tool of nutrition, health lifestyle, and mind-body intervention. Maria Paula will talk about nourishing the reincarnated being and the importance of nutrition for our whole self and its role as a self-knowledge tool. So our little timetable for today. Let me give you our agenda for today's event. After our opening reading and prayer, Umberto will speak to us for about an hour. He will have 15 minutes coffee break, and at 12:15, then Anna will give us her talk. Then we will break for lunch for about half an hour at 1:15, and after that, Maria Paula will give her talk at 1:45. We are planning to have another coffee break at 2:30. I'm very much looking forward for today's lecture, which I'm sure we all find very interesting and very edifying learning. After the lecture, there will be time for questions and open discussion. You'll be given a little card on your arrival, so feel free to ask as many questions as you wish. This will be used at the question and answer question at 2:45, just before we end the event. Okay, just before, one more thing before I go to the health and safety. Intervals and refreshments. During the coffee breaks and lunch, we have refreshments available on sale. The procedures will help towards paying the expense of the event and future events that we are planning to do. Today's event is free of charge, but we will welcome any donation we will be giving to the Poor Spiritualist Church. There is a bookstall, as you could see over there. I invite you to look at our Espíritos bookstall. During the intervals, at the end of the event, books about Spiritism will be available for you to purchase the Espíritos Society of Warner. Many of the books are today on a special offer, a bargain discounted price, so I hope you have a look at them and purchase one or two books for you to further your study. Following questions and open discussions, at the end of today's talk, we will expect to finish the event around 3 o'clock. A little announcements about health and safety. The assembly point is at the car park at the rear of this building. 2 toilets are located off the foyer. Please refrain from smoking in this building, and also please respect others by using your phone, not using your phone, or by keeping it silent. This is the end of announcements. Now I would like to ask Bob Williams to lead us on an opening prayer and reading.
Will you pray with me? Lord of the universe, creator of the seen and unseen, we are gathering here in this church to hear of your will for us. Give us the help we need to open our ears, both physical and spiritual, so we may grow nearer to your heart, O God. In joining together here, we add our love to yours and that of our guides and helpers in the spiritual world, to work towards your greater good, O God. Help us to help others. Guide the angels into all our hearts, that they may continue to lead us out of the darkness, so that we may unashamedly stand before you and face the future, knowing, dear God, that it is your will that we progress, each and every one of us. Now, O God, give this day's event into your loving care. We present ourselves for your keeping and ask for your blessing. Amen.
Amen.
Our reading today is taken from the Spirits book by Allan Kardec, and it contains the principles of the Spiritist doctrine concerning the immortality of the soul and other important matters. This section of the Spirits book that I'm going to read lists several questions which Allan Kardec put to the spirits and the answers he received via mediums from the spirits on the subject of reincarnation. Question: how can a soul who did not reach perfection during its corporeal life complete the work of its purification? The answer: by submitting to the trial of a new existence. How does the soul accomplish this new existence? Through its transformation as a spirit? The answer: in order to purify itself, the soul, of course, undergoes a transformation. But for this to occur, it needs the trial of corporeal life. Then, does the soul live many corporeal existences? Yes, we all live many lives, and those who say otherwise wish to keep you in the ignorance in which they themselves dwell. That is their desire. From this principle, it seems that after having left one body behind, the soul then takes another. In other words, it reincarnates into a new body. Is this the case? The answer given: obviously. What is the purpose of reincarnation? The answer: expiation and humankind's progressive improvement. Without reincarnation, how could there be justice? Is the number of corporeal lives limited, or does a spirit go on reincarnating forever? The answer: in each new life, a spirit takes another step on the path of progress. When it has stripped itself of all impurities, it has no further need of the trials of corporeal life. Question: is the number of incarnations generally the same for all spirits? The answer is no. Those who advance quickly spare themselves many trials. Nevertheless, since progress is almost infinite, a large number of incarnations are always required. What does the spirit become after its final incarnation? The answer: a blessed spirit, a pure spirit. Here ends our reading.
Thanks, Rob.
So now I would like our first speaker, Dr. Umberto, to take place. Thank you.
Good morning, dear ladies and gentlemen. I'm very honored with your invitation to speak today. And because our subject is quite large, we should start as soon as possible. Well, this is Plato, one of the leading figures in the discussion and actually the creation of the idea of reincarnation. Well, we should start making some basic questions, as it should always be in philosophy. Is reincarnation actually a revealed truth, or is it, on the other hand, or otherwise a natural phenomenon, something that we come to by means of observation or philosophical speculation. If it's a revealed true, let's start from there. Where was it revealed? By a specific religion, maybe? Or is it widespread? Is it generalized in many cultures? How often, if it was not revealed by an individual religion, how often or how frequently was it revealed? Was it or is it necessarily linked to Indians or to Oriental ideas, as so many people believe? And finally, is it an animist belief? That means, is it something that predates formal religions and actual revelations? These are necessary questions in order for us to understand why it happens and why it appears so differently in many revelations, and also why it is not mentioned in some other revelations. Well, when we analyze the history of religions, including pre-formal religions like animism, we see that the conclusion is, or the solution is, well, reincarnation is quite a universal concept. It's present in Africa, it's present in Americas, it's present in Australia, it's present in all Asia, from Siberia to India, and it was not actually coined by a specific culture. It was not a creation, a cultural creation of a specific people. Well, but how is it possible that reincarnation is such an universal concept? Well, either is it from experience, it is by experience that we know about that, but of which kind of experience are we talking about? Because we also have claims of many different approaches to reincarnation. It may be experienced by or through mediumship. It could be experienced as spontaneous memories that are revealed by young children. Young children may speak about previous lives, and we know that it happens quite often. It may come as a near-death experience or as a dream, or it could be also revealed in other ways, in more specific and rare ways. Well, is it an omnipresent and equal revelation from above, or does it mean that the spiritual world or God revealed the idea of reincarnation to many different cultures more or less at the same time? Could it happen? Could it be the way it happened? Or it is universal because it's somehow rooted in our brain, our genetics, our way of reasoning about the world, so that we necessarily come to similar concepts or similar ideas when reflecting. Well, we have here some of the oldest argument and some unexplained beliefs that show us how the idea started historically. It does not necessarily mean that these are the best forms of the idea of reincarnation, but it helps us separating revelation from philosophy and from experience, because it seems to us that the original ideas of reincarnation came from these three sources together. Well, in a large number of cases, all beliefs in reincarnation or metempsychosis, which is not properly the same concept we are working with today. It's the idea that a human being, a person, could reincarnate in the body of an animal, usually as some sort of punitive process. These two ideas are not related to any attempt of rational explanation in many times. They just add to the empirical fact that the idea is widespread. So it is an argument, not because it's based on reasoning or on reliable experience or fact or evidence, but because it's so widespread. So it attracts and it draws our attention, our curiosity to the fact that this is a very strong bias of the human race. So there is no support for it, but we should take care of analyzing the concept if the concept is so widespread. On the other hand, we have Hindu, Buddhist, specifically from Buddha himself, and Greeks, mostly philosophers, but also poets and priests that came to the idea of reincarnation through metaphysical or ethical reasoning, mostly ethical reasoning, because the idea of reincarnation in Greece particularly, but also in Buddhism and in Hinduism, to some extent in Egypt and among the Gauls, the Druids, it came as a solution to the problem of injustice. Why are people so different? Why do we have many gifted, talented persons and many persons who struggle throughout life and have actually miserable lives if we have just and loving God? So that was a major concerns for these thinkers, and they came out with the solution that reincarnation could try to explain, or could fill the gap of explanation, the explanatory gap of why is it so? How do we conciliate a just God, an intelligent being, and a good being that is leading the universe or organizing the universe, with the actual fact that misery exists, poverty exists, and horrible diseases exist. Well, among the Jews and the Egyptians who believed in reincarnation, we have many doubts about the range of their philosophical reasoning on it. Actually, because we do not have the historical sources. We do not have enough texts from Egyptians and no text from the Druids. We started knowing about the Druids from the Romans pretty late in history, so this is a very unreliable source because it's external, it may be judgmental, and it may be too biased by the way Romans understood the religion of the Gauls. But as far as we know, they believed in reincarnation. Well, the idea of karma is also a very popular one in our culture. It was popular even in ancient times. It influenced some Western ideas through, for example, Manichaeism, that was very, very popular in the end of the ancient world, the ancient era, and influenced not only Christianity, but also Islam quite a lot. And this idea was certainly coined in India, but the previous notion of cause and effect is not unknown to Egyptians, Babylonians, and Persians. So we know that these great civilizations believed in the idea of reward and punishment in an afterlife, and they linked that to ideas similar to reincarnation, similar to contemporary concepts of reincarnation. About 1,000 years before Christ, or maybe more than that,